Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you are watching this. My name is Lance Croy. I'm your student in CSUS200, and this is my book report. I read the book, The Petroleum Papers, by Geoff Dembicki. He's a Canadian climate activist who graduated with a journalism degree of bachelor's from Carleton University in Canada. I would like to give a quick summary about this book. This book is about how the fossil fuel industry and the oil and gas companies slowly learned how bad and impactful their product is into global climate change and how it is negatively affecting the globe as a whole. They slowly started to learn the facts about how CO2 and other toxic chemicals are trapped in the earth and causing climate change and causing all these negative effects that result. They first started to learn the facts and then slowly tried to hide it under the rug so that others would not learn about it and then they would not get in trouble. There was a slow public acknowledgement of what these companies were hiding, and then it slowly started to come out. The companies felt the pressure, and then they backed certain things such as going against regulations, shifting responsibility to governments and consumers and not assuming that responsibility, or lobbying against policies in general. Public acknowledgement kept on growing, and more people knew about it than before and how these companies negatively impacted the globe as a whole. The companies didn't back down though. They grew smarter in how they would respond and spent more money into business strategy. It focused a little bit, this book, also on Canada's oil sands in Alberta and how it became a focus and rallying point for activists about how bad these companies were. The companies were eventually caught down in what is going on right now in court and are getting sued and made to follow regulations. My analysis of this book is that I think oil and gas companies, a lot, because of my degree in supply chain management, the amount of volume that they use, or that they move, that they produce, all of that, just the pure volume is a miracle of logistical and operational structure and organization. I have also always been skeptical of these companies because I consider their profits to be very unethical. This is before I read the book. I always considered their profits to be very unethical, but I didn't really know why. I just always found them sketchy, and I kind of consider their profits as like blood money. Many wars and political arguments are fought over oil and its resources, and these companies make it harder. And they make it so that it is harder and harder and harder to try and regulate them because of their lobbying. I had a lot of thoughts about this industry that changed. I didn't really know how sly and very, very, very counterintuitive these companies were when it comes to them, they would sabotage a lot of these regulations. Their tactics were also denying a big portion of global climate change. My big analogy of them I would consider them to be not exactly the modern day, but a variation of the cigarette industry. The cigarette industry knew about the public risk of tobacco to their consumers, but they hid it under the rug. Oil companies know the risks that their products make and how it affects climate change as a whole, but they decide to hide it under the rug. And these companies know what is bad, and they know that it is negatively affecting people on the earth, but they are so concerned over profits, which rolls into my next point, is that I think these companies, and what I've read, they prioritize profits and just money making in general over safety or sustainability. Kind of something that I knew before coming into reading this book was the impact of Deepwater Horizon and how that big oil platform spilled millions of barrels of oil and caused millions of dollars of damage. And we just kind of swept it under the rug and acted like it didn't happen in a lot of places because of these gas and oil companies. This book did change my mind about how to be ethical in choosing my gas companies. I don't mind paying a few extra cents or a few dollars extra at the pump or whenever I'm buying other products that are petroleum based, if it means that this company is ethical and sustainable. I really do recommend this book to anyone who is interested in sustainability stories or the oil industry in general. And I really think the author did a really good job of getting his point across and keeping the story interesting and using hard-driven facts to get a point across. My closing statement is, these companies know how bad it is, but we have to hold them accountable because the time is ticking and we need to move now and hold these companies accountable, or it will be too late.